Guys, this is Jamal Carlos. On tonight's video, I'm going to give you my review of episode 3 of season 1 of Smallville. As hot as a cave football. What I mean by K, as a Kryptonian football. So here we go, guys. I love this episode because we get to see Clark do something fun or involving sports, but it's football. So here's the gist of it. Coach Waltz has the most wins in Smallville High history. He's going for his 200th win. That's an amazing stat number of wins. But tragically for Coach Waltz is that he in his office he has a special private heat box or sauna. In this sauna he has, your typical rocks heating the sauna up, but they're filled with kryptonite. They have fragments, interior fragments of kryptonite deep within the rocks, which out of the rocks come Kryptonian smoke. And by the way, Coach Walter has a very intense temper. He's like if the Undertaker had a very bad day in the office. Like if the dead man had a bad day, like a dark, if the Undertaker had a very bad day, a dead man bad day, and of course the type of anger that the Undertaker would have, it would be much more darker and evil, more creepy, but still anger. But Coach Waltz has this intense anger that when he blows up or when he screams or gets hyped up in anger, fire appears out of nowhere, which gives you the impression that somehow he has the ability to control fire. Yes, the ability to control fire with his mind or with his anger. So, what does Clark have to do with Coach Waltz? Well, after winning his 199th game, he sees Clark with Chloe and Pete. Pete just just checking out the football team, and Chloe and Pete and Clark have been hearing rumors, and just like the rest of the school, that some of the football players of the football team have got in advance math exams or math midterms, we're given the math midterm by Coach Waltz. At this point, it was just a rumor. But Chloe, being the ace reporter that she is, for her baby, an ultimate gift, which would be the torch. Was able to expose the truth, and yes, and in fact, the fact of the matter is that Coach Waltz did give the test to gave the test to his seven of his football players of the football team. Of course, Lana had a very intense, very medium intense or medium discussion, medium or mild discussion with Whitney, and Lana was like, I don't like it. I'm not gonna stand for it. So I quit cheerleading because of this. Because I know some of them, and some of them are my friends, and I don't want to be, and I'm excluding, and I'm recusing myself / quitting the cheerleader team because I don't want to be involved with cheaters. But going back to Clark, so Coach Walls sees Clark basically have a cannon of an arm, and we know why, because he's from Krypton. Cannon of an arm, and it's a very good throw, but it's a very good throw from Clark, but according to Coach Waltz, it needs some work, because his arm motion or throwing arm motion needs some work. But so Coach Waltz tries to convince Clark to join the football team. But one problem for Clark. His dad, Mr. Kent, Jonathan Kent, is right, and rightly so, concerned that Clark might hurt someone with his special abilities from his home planet, Krypton. But Clark wants a sense of normalcy, because obviously he's the last son of Krypton, but he's now in the other K, meaning Smallville, Kansas. But all his life he's been wondering, why do I have these abilities, and he wants to have participate and extra school activities. Eventually, Clark disobeys Jonathan, his dad, Jonathan Kent, and he goes to practice, but he doesn't use his full potential, if you know what I mean, his abilities. And obviously Coach Waltz screams Clark's head off, and but then Chloe sees Coach Waltz's ability to control fire, or his anger of fire in full display, when she takes a picture / video or picture of Coach Waltz, berating his players, and there's fire coming out of the sprinklers, and the snitch that basically had this information that Coach Waltz gave the football team the math midterm was Trevor, and Trevor got the most horrible punishment. He got his arm burned, or half of his wrist burned, badly burned by by Coach Waltz. But not only Trevor was a victim of Coach Waltz, but Principal Kwan. Now Principal Kwan had been or was starting as was barely 6 months into his principalship of Smallville High. So Principal Kwan was basically threatening, or basically gave a good reasonable threat to Coach Waltz. Coach Waltz and saying, I can't sweep the academic infraction that your 7 players committed, and you committed, just for you to get your 200th win. I'm not gonna allow it. I'm not going to allow you or the 7 players that I found out that were given the midterms will not be available or eligible to play for you. I'm sorry, but then Coach Waltz basically got angry, and Principal Kwan was like, "What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?" And Principal Kwan had talked to several of the school staff, and several of the school staff basically said, yes, Coach Waltz has bad temper, extremely bad temper. So I think yes. 2 nights. On Monday, the following Monday, Principal Kwan was trying to start up his car when Coach Wallace was basically angry, but not like had a look of anger, and just basically you're going to pay Principal Kwan, and Coach Wallace basically closed his eyes, and he was thinking about starting up a fire in Principal Kwan's car, and that's exactly what happened. But luckily for Principal Kwan, Clark was there with Pete, because Pete and Clark saw Principal Kwan's car become fried chicken, basically turn into fried crispy chicken, basically burning with him inside, and Clark uses Kryptonian, his Kryptonian self-strength, and got Principal Kwan out of his car. Then on game day, on the first debut on the field debut of Clark did not show up for his first game. He basically disappeared. Basically had disappeared, and Mrs. Kent and Jonathan and Mr. Kent asked Chloe, "Where's Clark?" Well, by this time Clark had discovered that Coach Waltz was very, very sick. Was indeed infected by the meteor shower. By the meteor shower by the meteor shower or Kryptonian, kryptonite. So Clark decided to, obviously, he basically went to basically went to Coach Wallace's office to confront him, and a whole kind of mini fight ensued before the main event, and basically Coach Wallace basically saw Clark's face and body language change when Coach Wallace realized that the meteor rocks that were infected with kryptonite of his sauna heat box or sauna box basically made, and Coach was able to knock out Clark, and Clark was basically immobile, and Clark actually, with the strength that he could, threw a rock to the window of the sauna. Obviously the rock broke the window, but it was no use. But thankfully, Mr. Kent was like to Coach Waltz, "Where's Clark?" And Coach Waltz was like, "I don't know. He's supposed to be on the field." And then Chloe was like to Mr. Kent, "I think Coach Waltz is lying." And so Mr. Kent went inside the school. Meanwhile, Chloe went to check out another part of the school, and Mr. Kent was able to find Clark in Coach Walt's office / inside his heat box or sauna, and basically Clark said to Mr. Kent, "It's a meteor. It's in a weak voice that it was the meteor rocks." And then Clark became a lot better, got a lot better, and he was able to stop Coach Waltz. But Coach Waltz basically was tossed and thrown by Clark into the shower with such strength and such force that Coach Waltz broke the wall or the granite wall. The granite wall of the bathroom, and basically Coach Waltz got angry, and basically he set the shower and himself on fire. This is how this wonderful, hot as a Kryptonian football of an episode ends. So with that being said, guys, let me know in the comments if you want to, what did you think about this episode, and did you ever have, and girls, did you ever have a coach like Coach Waltz that obviously didn't have the power to control fire just like Coach Wallace did. But did your coach or coaches in the past, if you did sports, college sports, or school sports, did they have a temper like Coach Wallace or a normal temper unlike Coach Wallace? So with that being said, guys, thank you for watching. Remember to leave a like, and until we play again. Bye.